Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah Donald, and if you're new here, welcome, and if you're not, welcome back. Anyway, today's video is for anyone thinking of making that big move to Nigeria. Are you looking to move back home, or just something you're considering, like you want to relocate? Maybe you're a Nigerian that lives in the diaspora from any other country that just feels like moving to Nigeria. This video is for you, because we all know that Nigeria has its own challenges. I talk about it here every day on this channel, but guess what, guys? It's also an amazing place when you are prepared. So before you pack your bags, make that big move and say, you know what, I'm coming back to Nigeria, these are things that you definitely need to know to make your transition so smooth. If you do these things, moving to Nigeria is going to be so easy, and it's going to be easy for you to, navigate life, this thing we call life in Nigeria. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump right into it. I get it. Everyone's got this romanticized vision of Nigeria, especially if you haven't been living abroad, or if you've not been living in Nigeria for a long time. But trust me when I say, don't just visit once before moving. There's a difference between visiting a place on a holiday and actually living here. So before you move to Nigeria, I recommend that you take at least 2 to 3 trips, if possible, different times like holiday, Christmas, January. Spend time in different neighborhoods, experience the traffic of Lagos, or the hotness of Abuja, or the cool city of Enugu, and just basically the overall hustle that comes with the daily life of living in Nigeria. If you can survive Lagos traffic or experience a full market day in Aba, you know then that if you're actually ready to move to Nigeria. Yes, but I always tell people, like, come visiting. It's not just about that December holiday and then you're like, I want to move to Nigeria. No, stay here. Now, for me, my first visit to Lagos, even though I grew up in Nigeria, was a wake-up call. I realized how different it was from the picture perfect version I had imagined. Trust me, in Nigerian movies, Lagos is a city when you want to come and make it, but more the noise, the heat, the constant, like, people are always on the move, the popular, God, Lagos is fun, don't get me wrong, but that's not what I expected. It's definitely not for anyone. It's not for everyone, to be honest, especially like if you're like me, that was coming from like a very calm place, and then you're moving to Lagos. You got to be prepared. You really got to be prepared, which is why you need to move, and you need to, visit, so you know where you are interested in staying. Another thing is to understand the cost of living. Now, this one is super important. Nigeria can be expensive, but not always in the ways you think. It's not like other countries where the cost of living is more predictable. No. Here, the cost of things fluctuates every day. Yes, one day food is cheap, the next day, prices go up, and suddenly everywhere is expensive. There's no regulation. Nobody is regulating that, okay, this rent, let it stop here, this food price, let it be here. Anybody can just wake up and put a fee. So don't make the mistake of assuming that everything will be cheap, especially when you come initially and you change dollar to naira and you're like, that's cheap, I made my hair for $10. No, when you're actually living, working and earning here, it's different. So don't say, okay, because you come from abroad and stuff like that. So things like imported foods are really expensive. Imported clothes, tech, internet. And if you live in places like Lagos or Abuja, if you haven't bought your place and you're looking to pay rent, do know that rent is not cheap, especially if you're moving in. But I mean, depends on where you're coming from though, because in America you guys pay rent monthly, right? In Nigeria we pay yearly. So some people can argue that it's more expensive there, but it is what it is. But yeah, personal tip, make sure to research the cost of living in your specific area. Sites like, places like Lagos, obviously it's more expensive than Enugu. Enugu is more expensive than Aba, things like that. So you can have an idea, go to places like property.com, property.ng, I think, .com, and have an idea of what it costs to live in the place that you're planning to move to. So let's say you get a job in Port Harcourt, don't just use Lagos price to, put a fee for Port Harcourt. The next one is to secure your housing strategically. Finding a place in Nigeria, it's not like finding a place in the UK or the US. I mean, you can't just hop on an app and pick a place. No, it's more of a process. Sometimes those things that they've advertised is no more there. You're not called the person, I'm interested in your property, is not available. But why do you have it available there? Because I have other things, similar things I can show you. Oh my God. So it's critical that you secure your housing. Make sure it is safe. Look at, what you're looking for. If you want 24-hour light, make sure they're giving 24-hour light, everything. So, location is key. What are you coming to do? Are you coming to work? So make sure you're living around that area. You don't want to end up in a neighborhood where there is no electricity, where you're stuck in traffic for hours. I mean, do your thorough research on areas. Ask people around, like, ask me. Ask people around, like, where's the best place to stay? What are you looking for? What are the basic things available to you there? You might not want an estate, but you want a standalone house, but you want to make sure that that area has light. Some areas haven't seen light in months. No exaggerating, man. Like, yeah, some areas have good lighting even without 24-hour lights and all. So just make sure you inquire about the area you're moving into, based on maybe if you're coming to work or something like that. Now, when I moved back, I knew that I wanted to stay in an estate because I wanted 24-hour electricity, security. I mean, I didn't want to deal with blackouts or unsafe areas, or, I mean, that is really expensive. So in my mind, I had to think about, like, the monthly expense that went to service charge, right? And the fact that they can just wake up and increase anyhow. But believe me, I was willing to pay for that peace of mind. The next thing to do is to sort out your tech and your power backup. Now, let's talk about something that will definitely affect your quality of life. Power. Power will affect your quality of life and internet. I mean, when I first moved back, I was shocked at how much I took constant electricity for granted. Do you know that when I was living in Nigeria before, there was more light than now? Yes, in Nigeria, it's not luxury, it's a necessity. Especially if you're working from home, my dear, then you need to ensure that you have light and you have internet. I mean, you need to invest in an inverter if possible for backup, solar power systems, and to avoid, like, even if you are in an estate that offers 24 hours lights, please, I beg, have your own backup by investing in an inverter. Don't forget that your backup in this country, your backup needs a backup. Do you understand? Because sometimes the solar might fail you, or their own lights will be having issues, things like that. National grid falls every 5 market days. Let's not forget data, my loves. Data is very expensive in this country, and you don't really get that. So right now I have fiber. I have fiber one. I have which one is that one? Cyber space. I have MTN broadband. I have SpectraNet. Oh my God, yes. If you work with internet, or you're a content creator, or basically your work is around the internet space, my darling, you need different ones. You need your MTN, your Glow, your Airtel, your cyberspace, all in one. Trust me. Another thing is, having power is non-negotiable for me. I mean, generator is a lifesaver. So if you live if it's not in an estate, then you'll be needing a generator. So have that in mind. And like I said, because your backup needs a backup, even when you have a generator that can back up anytime, if you don't want blackouts, make sure you have your solar inverter. Yeah. The next one is your lineup of income or work options. This is very crucial. Don't think you just wing it when you get here. Yeah, I've seen people move to Nigeria and they start working in radio or something because they came and just thought, like, oh, we'll just be doing content, no work. So Nigeria has a thriving entrepreneurial spirit, but the reality is, unless you have something lined up or some sort of income stream, things can get tight because of, the way things like increase anyhow. So yes, make sure you either have your remote work lined up or a solid business plan. Do not come into this country without a solid business plan. You need a solid business plan to start generating income as quickly as possible. If you are coming from the diaspora, I mean, it's easy to assume that things will fall into place. Like, let's wing it. Nope. It is better to over prepare than to be caught off guard. Because if you plan to start a business here in Nigeria, do your survey. Like, be sure you understand the business before you understand the Nigerian business. What works in UK will not work in America. What works in America will not work in Nigeria. So don't just come with the dream of, when I came to Nigeria, there was no light, so I want to start selling power bank. No plan, nothing. Don't know that there are so many companies selling the same power bank. Do you get? So personally, I started consulting remotely before my move and kept my overseas business running for the first few months. Yes, that really helped me avoid financial stress. So yeah, personally, I kept my work, so I was working remotely even while in Nigeria. I kept that at least for the first, I think it was for the first 6 months. Yes, I was working remotely. I had to like renegotiate, and that really helped my finances. The next thing is to learn the systems. I mean, banking, government, health work. Before you move to Nigeria, you have to make sure you understand the system, that nothing works in a hurry in this country. Don't just go and say, I'm going to renew my passport, and then you just run that day. Now, it doesn't like express in this country. So think about how the banking system works, the healthcare, the government processes, how to get your NIN. I do not know how to get NIN for foreigners. I am going to ask, and I'm going to do a separate video about that, documents and all that non-Nigerians need to get. Yeah. So for a lot of us, when we left Nigeria, there wasn't any NIN. So when we came back, we had to do our NIN and your BVN. So if you're Nigerian, be sure to do your NIN and your BVN, because they're essential for the bank. Because if you don't have your BVN, even if you opened the account how many years ago, they will freeze it. If you don't have your NIN, you can't get through to even having a SIM card. Yeah. Also understand that healthcare here is not always what you're used to. Public healthcare can be very inconsistent. So I suggest finding a good private hospital with a reputation for quality, and know that hospital, register, inquire about insurance, and yeah, look at different options from abroad. Look at, like, if you have any health condition, make sure that your insurance covers it, because paying off pocket can also be very expensive. I don't know why Nigerians don't use insurance. I personally do, and it's great. I mean, another thing is to mentally prepare for artisans and service struggles. Let's be real, Nigeria has a very bad, serious artisan culture. Whether you need a tailor, plumber, electrician, there's a good chance that the person you hire will ghost you. Have you taken your clothes to a tailor before? And you're going to tailor, when will it be ready? Your tailor is telling you that it's this night. Your tailor is looking at that material. Your tailor knows that there's nothing on this God's green earth that will make that thing ready. But that tailor will sit down, look at you in the face, and tell you that it will be ready today, ma. Make it make sense. Yes, I personally had my first share of waiting hours, scams, you know, even days, months for something that was supposed to take days. Sometimes the courier system is not reliable. I mean, this can be really frustrating. It's a very frustrating process, but patience is key here. And when I knew it, I stopped doing things in a hurry. So always ask for recommendation from locals if you want to hire anybody, guys, from carpenter, mechanic, car driver. Please always ask around. Ask that, like, have you used this company before? How are they? Are they okay? Would they delay me? Would they do a good job? Please, referrals are always awesome in this country, especially these days that anybody can just wake up and have a social media page. So it is important you ask for referrals. Another thing is to please set boundaries with friends and family. Listen, baby, when you move to Nigeria, everyone will suddenly have requests. Relatives who haven't seen you in years might expect you to take them out. People will be wanting to borrow money. People will ask you for favors. My advice is that you set boundaries early. They will call you Oyibo, which is white person. They think you're coming in with dollars. You know, people in Nigeria think that dollars are in the streets of America. Anyway, it's all stuff that people used to tell them, come to America, you'll be making $10,000 in just 2 days. So when you come back, they say that you're making that money, so you should give them. So you should have a clear cut boundary. Like, just know what you want to offer. Do not let the pressure of like savior mentality ruin your peace. No, you cannot help everyone. It's important to focus on your focus on your journey. Put your feet together. I say in Nigeria, entitlement spirit. Even the driver you hired, if you're not careful, they will expect you to be taking care of their family. My wife is sick, my this is this. You'll be like, did I do a bad thing by hiring people? Yes. Another thing is to let go of entitlement mentality. Yes, living in Nigeria means letting go of the idea that things should work the same way as they do abroad. If you're coming here to say just like London, systems here are different. I went to bank the other day. I was trying to, and I told the guy, I said, if it's my bank in UK, this thing will be done in minutes. He said, hey, man, you said UK, we are still starting. So adjust your expectation. Things may take longer. They might not even work at all. You will not always get what you paid for. As frustrating as it is, yes. Here's the thing, yeah. Let go of entitlement mindset. That's all I can say. This is not London. This is not New York. And the way things are done here might really frustrate you. You kind of need a lot of getting used to. You need to be flexible. You need to be patient. You need to lower your expectations. You know, you're hiring someone and this person was supposed to have a degree, first class from a university in Nigeria. So what do you expect? You expect that you shouldn't spoon feed the person basic things. Then you will leave it and go. My dear, that's when you will now get frustrated. Finally, you need to redefine what peace and happiness look like for you. Life here is busy, chaotic, loud. So if you're used to quiet life abroad, maybe you live in the countryside, you will need to find balance. Identify what truly makes you happy, whether it's going out, eating out in restaurants like I like to do, spending quiet time at home, or doing something cultural like visiting a museum, or taking walks. Whatever it is that you have to do, you have to define your own peace. Don't get lost in the drama of Lagos, because trust me, this my Lagos can be filled with gossip, noise, negativity, unnecessary competition, especially on social media. So day your day, stay focused on your own, you have your own peace. Stay focused. You can't control everything, but you can control your reaction to things. That's what I learned. You don't have to be where you do not want to be. You do not need to buy 2 million Ashwebees if you do not want to go. Yes, that's it. You do not need to put yourself under unnecessary pressure. Create your own happy place. What does happiness mean to you, right? Okay guys, so yes, those are 10 things that you must do before moving back to Nigeria. If you do these things, guys, it will make moving here so easy, so smooth, so enjoyable, so delicious. You will love Nigeria. As you can tell, I love Nigeria. I rant about things I don't like, but the things I like, I like. So yeah, if you do these 10 things, trust me, moving to Nigeria will be so easy. Thank you guys for watching. My name still remains Sarah Donald. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? And if you have any aspect of Japada, meaning returning, that you want me to talk about, please do well to comment below. Check out the previous videos where I cover everything about moving to Nigeria. Thank you so much. Love you all.